Welcome back and thank you for staying with the broadcast. The Cuban ambassador to St. Lucia is weighing in on the exit of President Donald Trump from the White House. Just 9 days before Trump demitted office, he returned Cuba to the U.S. list of state sponsors of terrorism. The Cuban ambassador, His Excellency Alejandro Simancas Marin, says the blacklisting has no legitimacy.
And we consider this action, which is a hypocritical and cynical action made by a government which is morally bankrupt, in a moral bankruptcy. We think that the only objective of this action is to try to defamate to Cuba, and at the same time to find a pretext in order to maintain the blockade against Cuba, and also they are trying to undermine all possibilities that rebuild our bilateral relationship in the future.
With the inauguration of Joseph Biden as President of the United States on Wednesday, the Cuban ambassador hopes that the two countries will have better relations moving forward.
We can say that, as usual, Cuba has said always that Cuba is ready to build and rebuild a path of a normalization between both countries, between Cuba and the United States, on the basis of respect, on the basis of equality, on the basis of the cooperation. We are neighbors. We are very close to each other. We are only 150 kilometers, Cuba from the United States. So I think, and the history already have proof in the past, that we have all the necessary basis in order to find and to build together the way for the normalization of our relationship.
That was Cuban ambassador to St. Lucia, His Excellency Alejandro Simancas Marin. In other news, one of the recommendations coming out of the NEMAC meeting was for market vendors to begin rotation. On Wednesday, the market manager and vendor coordinator visited the Castries Provision Market to inform vendors of the new rule that should take effect on Friday the 22nd. Market vendors, however, were not having it. Genevieve Gonzague tells us more.
The Castries Provision Market was a scene on Wednesday morning as executives of the Castries City Council met with market vendors to announce the implementation of a rotation system for market vendors. The place was abuzz with vendors expressing their dissatisfaction loudly. The market manager at the CCC, Gemma Thomas Vitalis, spoke to Hot 7 as to why the decision was taken.
And we know that on Fridays, Saturdays, the market is always packed. So we try to weather the storm by having them rotate. But it's for 10 days, from this Friday to next Friday. We'll go back to the drawing board. We either might do a dip, but we are hoping to have one in, one out on a daily from Friday. But some want it and some don't, so that's where our little problem lies.
The vendor coordinator, Augustine Victor, explained that the decision was not a unilateral one by the CCC, but directives were taken from the emergency NEMAC meeting held on Tuesday 19th. He explained that vendors were not very receptive. However, the rules will have to be followed.
On a Friday and Saturday, there's have a lot of people. So now we are going to put some press release out that the people who comes on Friday may not come on Saturday. So those who didn't come Saturday will probably come Friday, just to try to able to rotate the thing so that you don't have too many people at one time, because this is the problem that we have. Now vendors believe that is against them, and as you can probably just have vendors talking, and it's just what you call the politics line. But this COVID-19 is not no politics, it's everybody involved, and everybody have to safeguard everybody.
The market vendors did not hold back on how they felt about the matter.
So I don't address myself?
No, when you return, you address yourself. You don't start a relation business. So, everything's rough, things bad, but not sure. So, I'm going to start that shit, my partner. Who may master rotation now? Talk to my
Just for a day.
My bell by just for a day.
So when maladla, malobidal waye.
Panic corona. Maka believe on the dying.
Rules and regulation inside the market. You cannot just come and put rules on people. 2 months you out. Today you there. Come and put things in order. The market is empty. So what do you want us to do? The market empty. You don't see inside the market how the market empty. Put rules and regulation inside the market. Jane, why you sit down there? Not good. Down, that's not good there. Sit on that side there. Put rules and regulation inside the market. Don't come and say things da 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 da. Inside the market empty. The way the market manager come and speak to us, it's not good. Come and investigate inside the market first, talk to us, and then come and say what you'll have to say. Don't just come and say things as if you want to about people.
I'm not that against it because I knew it will come, my girl. I knew that because I always used to tell the brethren on the outside when we're selling outside on a Sunday, they will prevent us from selling on a Sunday. So said, so done. It was announced today. You understand? I'm not surprised that it come. But at the same time, I'm human, I'm being affected, you understand? We have our bills to pay and so on. But when you look at the situation, the way they want to do it is by rotation. Everybody still have a chance to sell something, but most of our goods will spoil. You understand? Because it have to be locked in the cupboard for the following day. And you see, we have perishable goods, you understand? So everybody will suffer from that because they are frustrating us that they may bring in that mark, which is the mark of the beast system.
During the week, we're not getting sale here. Fridays and Saturdays is when I get in the sale here. They're saying if I come Friday, I can't come on Saturday. I don't like that. I'm not supposed to do that.
Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
The Sir Derek Walcott Memorial Lecture was put on Tuesday under the theme A Whole People, presented. The lecture sought to draw the parallel between Sir Derek Walcott's vision and the path that St. Lucians now need to follow for the country's development. Dr. Oje says, in essence, that the current trajectory of St. Lucia is not one that augurs well for real development.
We are living a perversion of Sir Arthur Lewis's model of development. We are becoming trapped in a downward spiral of low wages, low growth, high debt, and high dependency. If there is anything sustainable in that formula, I will take a vow of silence now, and the state will be finally free of this meddlesome priest. Derek and many others have spoken of this for decades, but our outcomes will not change unless we alter our trajectories. So for those who want something new to be said, let them first admit that they have in their various positions of power, influence, and subterfuge done nothing to alter the narrative that they find so boringly repetitive. It is no crime to assert or admit that we need fundamental change. It is a crime not to pursue that change. So we cannot have superficial conversations. We cannot be afraid to speak about a love of self and a love of country as essential components to our economic prosperity.
Oje says that the onus is on the leadership of the country to do better by the people who have elected them into office. He says that he has faith in the Caribbean consciousness that we will do better by each other.
I want to dispel any notion that politicians are the problem. Indeed, I want to loudly proclaim that politicians are the solution. Better politicians, honest politicians, enlightened politicians, brave politicians who put their people first. That is the people who actually elect them, as opposed to the people who pay for their campaigns. I said earlier that I have great faith in the Caribbean consciousness, our ability to rebalance, our sense of when to correct, when to change course, or indeed when to change governments if they need changing. And if I am to keep that faith, I must also believe that even 4 decades later, our anthem is still right, calling us to love, oh love, our island home. I think it is instructive that our anthem begins and ends with love as a paramount ingredient. We need love to support, to survive, to prosper, whole, intact, conscious. So we must rediscover and reassemble that love of self, of land, of light. Because as Derek wrote, this gathering of broken pieces is the care and pain of the Antilles.
He cautioned those gathered at the lecture to not force their best and brightest away.
I want to dispel any notion that politicians are the problem. Indeed, I want to loudly proclaim that politicians are the solution. Better politicians, honest politicians, enlightened politicians, brave politicians who put their people first. That is the people who actually elect them, as opposed to the people who pay for their campaigns. I said earlier that I have great faith in the Caribbean consciousness, our ability to rebalance, our sense of when to correct, when to change course, or indeed when to change governments if they need changing. And if I am to keep that faith, I must also believe that even 4 decades later, our anthem is still right, calling us to love, oh love, our island home. I think it is instructive that our anthem begins and ends with love as a paramount ingredient. We need love to support, to survive, to prosper, whole, intact, conscious. So we must rediscover and reassemble that love of self, of land, of light. Because as Derek wrote, this gathering of broken pieces is the care and pain of the Antilles.
Although this year's memorial lecture took on a smaller crowd, the message by all accounts was poignant. In other news, a son of the soil has been appointed as the next president of the Caribbean Development Bank. The CDB announced through its board of governors in a statement on Tuesday that Dr. Hyginus Jean Leon will take up the mantle come May 1st, 2021, succeeding Dr. Warren Smith, who has been at the helm of the regional financial institution for the last 10 years. Dr. Leon has over 30 years of experience in economic development under his belt and has also worked with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, for over 20 years. Dr. Leon, who holds a Doctor of Philosophy PhD in Economics from the University of Southampton in the United Kingdom, was also an Associate Professor at State University of New York at Old Westbury in the United States. In addition, he served as Director of the Research at the Central Bank of Barbados and Country Economist at CDB. You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. We have more coming up.